Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are so happy that you are part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to the show, and you can subscribe to our show at the iHeartRadio app and wherever you find your podcast from. We're here today to talk to the author of Yahooty Who. Her name is Jen Oloo. Hey, for all the authors that are listening out there, I wanted to share with you this great email that we received here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast from Dr. Linda Mubarak. She is a past guest and the author of Maxine's New Job. Here's the email. Dear Fatima and Jed, good news! Maxine's New Job has been nominated to receive the prestigious Henri Award at the 2018 Christian Literacy Awards for Outstanding Literacy Work in the Children's Book Division. I sincerely believe your certifying Maxine as a great read helped bring increased social media attention to the book. Thank you for the exposure and the great marketing. We are so happy for Dr. Linda Mubarak that her book, Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read, Maxine's New Job, received this prestigious recognition. We would love to help your book receive that same kind of recognition. If you are interested in having your book considered for our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program, please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can click on the contact button, send us a note, and we'll send all the information back to you, or you can go right to our Certified Great Read page on our website. It's fun, it's easy, and it is really an effective way to let the world know that your book stands out above all the rest. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. Joining us on the line right now from Los Angeles in California, where on a clear day you can see the Hollywood sign and the Griffith Park Observatory. Our guest is the author of Yahooty Who. Please welcome to the show, Jen Oloo. Jen, how are you?
I'm awesome, Jed. Thanks for having me.
Jen has this huge smile on her face, and she has such a great personality. We've had so much fun just chatting here before the show started. And so it doesn't surprise me that you've created a great book like Yahooty Who. Tell us all about it.
Oh, thank you. Yahooty was a story that my grandpa told me about when I was about 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And he took me to the refrigerator and he opened the door and he said, "Did you see him?" And I said, "Did I see who?" And he said, "Yahooty." And I'm looking at him like, "Grandpa, like you bumped your head or something." And he said, "Yahooty turns on the light when you open the door in the refrigerator." And my mind just exploded. I thought, this whole time I didn't know there was a Yahooty in my refrigerator. And my grandpa wasn't an incredibly playful guy, but this was his way of playing with all of us. And so he would help us search for Yahooty all over the place. And Yahooty did things that were maybe a little bit unexpected. So, if you pull a tissue up from the tissue box and the next one comes up automatically, that could be Yahooty. Or if you, flush the toilet and magically the water's swirling down and everything goes down the drain, that could be Yahooty. So it was a fun way to, look for this imaginary friend and at the same time play with our grandpa, and that was some of my just most favorite childhood memories. So yeah.
I love that because, I think the people who listen to the show know I do educational magic shows, so it's very comfortable for me to pick up a book and to do voices and do silly stuff. But that's not natural for a lot of people. And it sounds like your grandfather was one of those people, but for him to kind of go out of character like that, to create Yahooty, what a real symbol or what a wonderful action of love that he gave to you.
Yeah, he really did. And, until I had my own kids, I didn't really think about it too much. My grandfather passed away when I was 13 or 14. And, when I had my own children, I found myself playing Yahooty, find Yahooty, where's Yahooty? And my kids loved it. And, we could find playful moments wherever we were. So if we were at the park or we were at even the dentist's office, we would, look for Yahooty, and, we would talk about how Yahooty maybe was helping the water shoot out of the dental tools and, that kind of thing. And, it brought a lot of joy, not just to my kids, and still does, but to me, as a parent. And when I had a couple of friends of mine who wrote this book with me a few years ago, they decided that we should all do something together creative for our kids. And so we were tossing around ideas about stories and should we write a book, and I told them about Yahooty. Mm-hmm. And they went home and told their kids. They did the fridge thing. So they went home and they opened the fridge and they said, "Did you see him?" And the next day, my friend Ray Hojat, who's one of the co-authors, he called me and he said, "It's Yahooty." He said, "My kids are going nuts. They want to find Yahooty all the time." So that's how we decided to write this book.
That is so very, very cool. Now, one of the things I noticed is that you call this an illustrated Participa Story. Tell what's that about?
Yeah, the idea is that everybody participates. So there are times in the book where there are call-outs. They say, "Who makes my potty go downward bound?" And then the answer back that the kids say is, "Yahooty does," with a sweet swooshing sound, And so there's several times in the book where the kids shout out, "Yahooty does." And then, the whole idea behind Yahooty is that it's a family participation. So it's not the kind of book that if you're a parent who chooses the shortest story for bedtime so that you can get to your own adult things, this is maybe not the book for you. This is a 48-page, children's illustrated book, and it's very interactive, and we want it to be that way. We feel like it's so important in our cluttered everyday lives to still connect with our kids, and this is just a tool, to be able to help do that.
Well, I really love that, and I really respect that, that you're saying, I think there's some authors out there who, they believe they've created this story, and the story is so very, very precious, and I crafted these words. And absolutely, there are, authors who labor over each and every word, and I'm not taking anything away from any of the words that you put in your book. I know you worked hard to create this book, but I love that that in your mind that this is a tool to bring parents and kids together. That's what it exists for. It exists to facilitate that community that is growing between a parent and a child, or between a grandparent and a child.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. We're not, I parent my own kids, but I don't claim to be able to parent other people's kids. Mm-hmm. I think that we can, as authors and creators, we can spark, opportunities for conversation and for connection. And that's what we intend to do. So, for instance, if you want to read Yahooty and talk about the toilet swirling down, and then you want to launch into a story about who actually invented the toilet and, why and you talk about the science behind it, that's totally awesome. That's how you use this as a tool to connect with your child. If you want it to just be an imaginary friend who helps your child get through tough times. Maybe they have anxiety at the dentist's office. And so you talk about how Yahooty could be in the tools or is with them no matter where they are to help give them strength. That's how you choose to parent and use Yahooty as a tool. But we really feel like we're just helpers. We don't claim to be experts except maybe in being silly and fun. But we do hope that parents use this in different ways that suit their parenting style to connect with their kids.
I love that. One of the questions that was in the back of my mind is, what do you say to those parents who don't want to tell their kids about Santa Claus? And I don't want to lie to my kids. But that you have the perfect, you answered that question. It's like, Yahooty turns on the light in the refrigerator. Really? Well, you want to really know? No, it's actually the switch down here when you open it up. It pops on. Well, it probably does it in a different way these days, but
right.
But I love the fact that you're respecting parents and the fact that parents and families have different styles, and and kids have different needs. I mean, my kids are 23 and 25 right now, and we raise both of my kids with lots of love and affection and attention, but we raise them in very different ways because they're very different people.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I have a 4-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy, and they're incredibly different. Mm-hmm. And, in age is obvious, right? So like my 4-year-old girl thinks Yahooty is absolutely 100% real. Mm-hmm. And my 9-year-old boy thinks Yahooty is really fun, and he loves sharing those playful moments with his baby sister. Mm-hmm. So, but he knows that Yahooty is, this character that mom made up, and he knows the whole story about my grandpa Walt and everything. So that from an age perspective, they're different. But also, my daughter is much more level and kind of chilled out with things, where my son gets a little more anxious about things, and so he likes to know all of the details behind everything. And so there's lots of deep conversations, whereas my daughter will kind of accept things for face value, and you're right. I mean, they're just different, and we have to be, flexible, right, to be successful in raising them to be better humans. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, what we've created is complementary to that. Yeah.
And it sounds like Yahooty Who grew out of friendship, out of this, friendship and love between friends.
Yeah, well, Ray Hoja and Mike Rodriguez and I have been friends for, over 20 years. And we work together in professional ways. So they run a creative agency, and I've been in marketing for most of my life. And so we've had opportunities to collaborate from a business perspective. But then, on the weekends and in the evenings and stuff, all of our kids hang out together, and we do fun stuff together. We were just at a Super Bowl party, last week together. And so it was a wonderful opportunity to be able to bring all of our creative, professional marketing talents together with the love of, being parents and being a family.
Yeah. And wasn't that a great Super Bowl? I mean, I had just such a wonderful time. Wait a minute, what am I wearing? Oh, no. Oh, yes, I'm wearing my Patriot shirt here.
Sorry. I was going to say, you're in L.A.
Sorry to rub it in. My wife and I, we watched the AFC Championship game at a restaurant in L.A., and we stayed on the down low because there was no one else in the restaurant that was cheering for New England.
Right? I think there are some. You'd have to go search for them. They hide out in little dark taverns or something.
Well, I love that, but that's just another example of, two relatively normal people looking at the same situation from different perspectives and experiencing the same thing with different outcomes. And right. But I mean, we're joking, but that's part of parenting, is helping kids understand that, and helping kids understand that people do look at things in different ways, and we do look at things at the same thing at different times in our life and see different things. And this might be a great way, especially now with your son and your daughter at different ages. And it sounds like you're kind of giving that lesson to your son. He understands that Yahooty is this made up character, that your grandfather, it's a legacy, and it's really cute and it's sweet. And he understands his sister's looking at it, and she's younger, and it's like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
And that hopefully will, maybe help him when your son gets a little bit older, is in middle school and is like, nobody likes me. This is horrible. Middle school is terrible. And you can sit down and say to him, it gets better, kid. Don't worry about it. You're going to look at things in a different way in 2 years.
Yeah. I love that actually. I'm going to write that down. I think it's a really good idea for a story. We're just finishing up our second book now, and it is about celebrating differences, a little bit in a different way than what you were just talking about. So I really like that idea of seeing things from a different perspective as you go through life, because that's the only thing you can count on is change. So celebrating differences is a story about a boy who moves from, it's a Yahooty story, but it's a story about a boy who moves from another town, and he is celebrating a holiday with his family. And he invites all of his friends over, and he's so excited. And they come to the house, and there's all kinds of themed food and decorations and games that they're going to play. And the kids, his friends, don't have any fun at first because they don't understand the holiday that he's celebrating, because they don't celebrate it in their house. Mm-hmm. And so the Yahooties help them to better understand the holiday, and then they can all, enjoy the festivities with their friend who just moved from out of town. So I think, it's really, important for us as authors to communicate the idea of, tolerance and inclusion and, being helpful and just being loving. And I think, we're looking at kids, mostly the kids that resonate with Yahooty are between 3 and 6. Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful age to be able to teach them these things. And while we don't say we have a prescription for parenting or anything like that, we just hope that parents can, invite Yahooty into their house, and like I said before, use him as a tool to, express, all of those, teaching moments. Those are things that, we go through as kids. And I really love the idea, that you mentioned of, going through different perspectives in your life. So I'll have to think about how to maybe include that, in a tight age range. We can't appeal to everybody at every age, but I don't know, who knows? There are some grown men who like My Little Pony. So.
Well, we're not going down that rabbit hole right now, but that whole perspective thing, that was something that, first started coming, an understanding of that first started coming to me as I was performing and teaching magic and just showing kids, there's this one really simple little illusion that you can teach a 5 or 6 year old. And when you look at it from one angle, it is absolutely magical. But when you just turn the angle just slightly, just turn maybe 15 degrees, then suddenly it's like, well, that's the dumbest thing in the world. And I love teaching that for a couple of reasons. I love teaching because when they set it up right, it really is. And they feel very successful that they did this magical thing. But when they start getting a little bit older, and some kids, depending 6, 7 years old, they can start to say, oh yeah, look at that. If I turn, they're looking at it, they're seeing something completely different. They're seeing this thing in a different way. And that certainly isn't going to, at 6 and 7 years old, that's not going to help them solve the problems of the world, but it will plant a little seed so that then when they grow up, hopefully before they jump to conclusions or overreact to a situation, they might sit back and go, how is this person seeing the same thing? Yeah. So it's amazing what we can do as parents and as authors and illustrators.
It is, and really, I think it's about, we create fun stories and the illustrations, our illustrator, her name is Laurent Simon, and she is unbelievable. But I really think that, the credit, you know, for raising good humans has got to go to the parents. I mean, you know, it takes a lot, and I know it takes a lot to have open communication with our kids and to be willing to kind of go where they lead us. And to be flexible and to know that, you know, children need different approaches. I mean, this stuff is not easy, you know, and it's certainly, you know, as our society and our technology is evolving and changing, we've got new challenges all the time. And, so the most important thing for me, I guess two things. Flexibility is huge for our family, but also to keep that communication open and to always be talking and connecting. And so, you know, I hope that Yahooty can help do that for parents and for kids. And we also have some, Yahooty makes sock puppets. And so we also have some sock puppet friends that I know have helped some of our, you know, fans communicate. Sometimes kids don't have an easy time, you know, communicating with their own mouth. And so Yahooty introduces some sock puppet friends who can help them communicate as well. And that's always fun too.
Very, very cool. Now, I know folks are going to want to know where they can find out more about Yahooty Who, and you have a really awesome website. So tell them a little bit about the website, where they can find it, and what they'll find there.
Yeah, sure. YahootyWho.com, and it's spelled YahootyWho.com. Yahooty Who. Super fun to say, not necessarily super easy to spell. But you'll find a little bit more about Yahooty and who he is, and you'll meet some of his sock puppet friends, Fluff and Dot. And we've got some, the book is for sale there, the plush, we have a plush doll for Yahooty that's for sale there. You can also buy the book on Amazon if you're a Prime member and get free shipping. And they do sales from time to time, so it's actually on sale today. I don't know if it'll be on sale when this airs, but you can always check there at Amazon. And then we've got two new books that are coming out soon. The first one is going to be Celebrating Differences. I expect that that'll be out sometime in March or April. And then the third book will follow shortly after that, and we have some new fun characters as well to introduce there.
Well, awesome. Well, we want everybody to check out Yahooty Who. A really, really fun book. The illustrations are fun. The story is fun. I love the concept of the character, and I love that that Yahooty is grown out of love that started with your grandfather, kind of going out of his comfort zone to be playful with his grandkids, and then growing even more through the love that you and your friends have for each other, creating this, and love that you all have for kids everywhere. We've been speaking today to one of the authors of Yahooty Who, Jennifer Oloo. Jennifer, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. It is a jam-packed episode. We have three fantastic guests. Nita Clark and Kathy Doherty, mom and daughter team, are here to tell us about their book, I Hate Numbers. And we have a return visit from Stephanie Hull. She'll be here to talk to us again about her ABC See Hear Do, a new addition to that fantastic series. We are looking for a few great schools to host our all-new in-school experience that we are calling Reading with Your Kids Live. We're looking to celebrate our shared love of reading and learning with storytelling, magic, and lots of totally interactive fun. We may even feature some of the students in your community on a future episode of the podcast. You can check it all out at our website, readingwithyourkids.com/live. And of course, at readingwithyourkids.com, you can learn all about all the wonderful author services we have. You can learn about our Certified Great Read program there. And you can also click on the contact button. Let us know about your great children's book that you wrote, or let us know about a children's book that you and your kids really love, and we'll do our best to find that author and bring them on the show. Hey, I want to thank Jen Oloo today for being on the show. Make sure you check out Yahooty Who. We also want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.